Good morning. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Great. Looks like I missed open due to my sorry internet. It gets replaced today with a new company. So at any moment, I'll let you guys know, heads up, at any moment this internet could die. It's on a weak signal. When I woke up this morning, it was flashing yellow. And that's not a good sign. Good morning, everyone. Let me see if I can get Discord going here, running behind. All right, I think I have everybody on board. Just to let everyone know, I'm showing a weak connection. The internet went out last night. I don't have a good strong signal this morning. Bit of shape. I do have a replacement coming today. It's supposed to get installed around 1 o'clock. Morning, Sandra, Harley, David, Super, Bob, Super, Tamimi, and Bob. Looking at the pre-market watch list this morning, I see one popping up. Since I had to reboot, I feel like I'm late on it already. Not going to take a chance. Would like to have caught it back here in a market open. Could have played a nice pullback right here and jumped in. It would have been a nice 30-cent gain. Not the first time Xfinity has cost me money. You haven't seen fear until you into a trade for about 3,000 shares and your internet goes out. Had to immediately jump on my phone. That's what I have as a backup, and get out of the trade. Looks like everybody's slowly rolling in. Could have a possibility of a pullback here. Might bounce off the 8 moving average and go up for another run. Just remember, in pre-market, these pullback studies are not as accurate as if the market was open. A lot less people buying and selling. Still works, don't get me wrong, still works. But you have to really watch it. This is where, if it's going to bounce up, it's going to be in this area. So this is the pullback strategy. What are we looking for? We're looking for pullbacks. We're not looking to jump in just because it took off. We're waiting on pullbacks. It's kind of like waiting for approval to get in. Not looking good because this 8 moving average is turning down. That's a sign of weakness. Good morning, Jay. So if you're new here, raise your hand. Just kidding. Would have brought it right back up. Good morning, Mr. Rodriguez. We get enough people in here, I'll go ahead and explain what's going on the screen. Just be patient with me. We got a late start this morning. Internet issues, and it looks like our pullback may be coming into play up here. Sometimes it just doesn't work out. Nothing to do with us. It's all about the buyers and sellers. So if you notice, we were playing a spike. We were indicated over here. It's not spiking over here anymore. but we continued to watch the stock. That doesn't mean it's over. They may say, hey, this might have potential and start getting in, and that's where we capitalize on our profit. Not seeing anything over here in the scalp column, the spike column. Good morning. We have one hopeful this morning. Hopefully we can get something out of this one. Because of my internet issues, I missed a good run right here. So those that just got here, if the stream dies, my apology. I'm experiencing internet issues this morning. Nothing I can do about it. Had to reboot the system. I still have a weak signal. Luckily, I have a new internet service provider coming in today to be installed around 1 p.m. as a backup. Good morning, Gregster. Watching the spike thing over here. I called it spike thing. People wanted to know what V-spike meant. And I can understand there may be questions. Maybe I should call it volume spike. There we go. Now it's called what it actually is. It's called volume spike. They are the worst company. It's at least once a week, sometimes twice a week. You can be in the middle of anything and then all of a sudden it dies. Oh, but it's our new system. We're just doing maintenance. Yeah, right. You've been doing maintenance for 3 years? Good morning, Chuck. In about 30 minutes, I'll walk through. Let everybody get a chance. We usually run about 60 to 70 in the stream. Let's let everybody get in here. And I'll explain what this is, and I'll explain what we're doing over here and what's down here. For those that don't know, you really need to be familiar with what we're doing. Yeah, I just got it squished. I mean, I could bring it up and I mean, you're only going to get up here, you're only going to get let's see. I can bring it down maybe. Nope, I can't bring it down. What's happening here? Maybe I need to catch it from the bottom. Roll up. Nope, that didn't help either. There we go. So I had to make it longer at the bottom to be able to show more at the top. So I'll just let the bottom hang down right there. Well, I can't do that. It goes on to my other monitor. Well, we'll just have to settle for that. I don't have any more screen territory I can use. Bob, over in the current setup, yesterday I took everything directly off of my system and put the shared links over there. Load those scans. It should work for you. It's working for everybody else. Yes, over in Discord. It's called Current Setup. Just delete the ones you have and reload the ones that came off my system. We're watching the spikes. We're looking for volume spikes. Once we find one, then we're looking for pullbacks. This would be a pullback, but it's so choppy, probably no interest in it. Very low volume. In fact, no volume. So we had absolutely nothing yesterday. Hopefully we'll find something today. I'm hoping it's the every other day syndrome. We had a good Monday, a bad Tuesday, a somewhat Wednesday. And we're waiting to see what Thursday gives us. You go to your scans tab. Then you go to the middle of the three bars on the right. And you go to load scan query. Then you scroll down to delete, and there would be all of your scans to delete. So the scan tab, to the right, you have three sets of bars. The middle one, click it, load scan query, move over to personal, go down to delete. Yeah, don't be afraid to click on everything. You're not going to mess anything up unless you click OK or apply. Just click on everything you see and start seeing what's behind what's hidden, what's in plain sight. Just click every tab. As long as you don't save or click apply or click OK, you'll be good to go. I'm not seeing any volume spikes this morning. I missed the one because of the internet. I've had a few people ask me how to set up auto trading since this indicator works so good. And man, would I ever trust my money on an auto trade? Hell no. Yeah, Gregster, it's even faster than the paid subscriptions most of the time. I'm not going to say all of the time. That volume spike indicator is money. Good morning, Brian. I feel your pain, Brian. Good morning, Parabolic. Still waiting on everybody to roll in. I got a late start. They probably thought I wasn't streaming. The internet was the issue. Watching for volume spikes in this column. That is not a spike. It is, but it's frozen. It's not doing anything. We're looking for growing percentages. One thing I forgot to do, let's see if I did it right. I forgot to go to 0.0. Wish there was a way to make that automatic, but since it's a script, it would be impossible. So we adjust this number here so that we can make this more sensitive so that it's picking up the slightest movement in any stock. If we put it on 100, that means we're willing to accept everything below a 0 not to show up. So 100 would be 1% and up. But in pre-market, the volume is low. We want to watch minimal movement, such as the 0.0. What's good about this is you create a basic scan, then we sort by volume spike. That brings anything up in that scan to the top. We don't have to go chasing stocks every morning. They come to us. EBDL. Well, it wouldn't have done any good for me. Parabolic eye didn't have a connection. I see we've looked at it before, though. It's already plotted out with the chart lines. So I am told there's no way for me to mute everybody on Discord when I'm streaming, but yet allow them to communicate outside of the stream. This person is the guy who built our Discord. He's usually pretty trustworthy. I've tried a couple of scripts, but every time I tried one and I tried to mute Discord, it muted everybody. I couldn't do let me stream and talk and let you guys talk on Discord at the same time. It's an either or. I'm sure somebody knows how to do it. I'm still having high hopes there's some kind of software that will work for us. I'll continue to look. But it does sound logical. I'm trying to mute Discord while I stream to Discord. All right, we got about 40 people. I'm going to do a walkthrough here while we're waiting on something to pop up. This is the spike indicator that I created, and it watches for movement and volume. It is adjustable. You can go into the parameters and adjust it out. 0.0 being the quickest reaction time. In other words, if a stock barely moves, it's going to show up in the list. And you can watch me do the adjustments to it after market opens. I'm simply going to change this number to 100, which would be 1%. So as we watch the column every morning, we sort by V-spike. We bring them all up to the top. We set up our pre-market scan. There's a link to that on YouTube and on Discord. We monitor our scans like that one. And you can see over here on the right, it's telling us, hey, this stock may take off. Over on this side of the screen, I created the pullback indicator, and it looks for pullbacks in stocks. So it's going to give you some red arrows as it's falling. As the volume increases from this spike, it's going to show up right here. It says bullish, but different than this spike is only watching this first candle, the active candle. So it's going to let you know if the buyers are increasing in this candle or decreasing. Down here we have the volume indicator. I've added buyers and sellers to it. If there's more buyers than sellers, it's going to indicate down here like it says there's more sellers now. And when we do a trade, we actually just click here. we make a decision if we're going to get in here. What we're going to do is wait for this 8 moving average to cross above the blue, which is the 21. Your colors may be different. Once this crosses over, if there's a volume spike, it's going to show green up here as a bearish or bullish. You're going to see a green down here that the buyers are overwhelming the sellers. If the stock continues to go up, it's going to give you some green arrows and a chance to buy. Since this is a pullback indicator, I prefer waiting on it to rise, pull back. You'll get some more green arrows and play the second run up. You don't have to play it that way, but it is a pullback indicator, and that's the way it functions the best. Any questions about how the system works? Raphael, it's not really hard. Just stick with it. Win or lose, this system does work. Never change. If you lose, never change. Stick with the same strategy. Just figure out what you did wrong. Did you get in too soon? Did you not wait on the pullback? Was the volume spike not strong enough? There's always a reason that the trade failed. Your odds are of a winning trade or greatly improved doing it this way. You're actually being notified when the buyers are coming in or when the sellers are coming in. Let me show you what someone posted in Discord. Right here, this guy trades options, and somebody questioned him about how he was making money. And you can read that little sentence right there. It says, I've been using V4 with options, and it's been on the money most of the times. Just make sure you're checking the other time frames. He didn't say and run about 7 out of 10. Hopefully he's running about 7 out of 10. So we do have an options channel for those who trade options. It'll get built up over time. So if anybody has any options questions, does it work with options? Yes, Harley's, there is no set number on that. You basically have to watch the chart, wait on the reversal after the pullback. And as always, it's the stock market. It can go up or down, but with these indicators, you have a greater chance of it going up because it's notifying you in this area. We had the crossover, the arrows, we had a volume spike of buyers. We have a volume spike in the current candle, and we have more buyers coming in. We're doing pretty good, Parabolic. We reached our view rating last night. Thank you, everybody who's watching the videos and learning. We have about 60 more, I believe, 65 more subscribers before we hit the 1,000 mark. So we're doing good. I've watched some other streamers qualifying, and they say it takes about 6 to 8 months, and we seem to have done it in 3. Little boring at the moment. You have to be patient. That little boring can make you thousands when you wait and be patient. We're waiting for volume spikes. We don't need to go anywhere. Just drink your coffee and stare. I used to think, how can you be boring trading stocks? And you can be. Watching for movement. That's our full-time job. Not seeing anything at the moment. This one's trickling every now and then. What we want to see is these numbers jump 1%, 2%, 3%, 10%. Try to catch it as low as possible. You got that right. It's just like fishing. That's good, though. At least we have our line in the water. You can't catch a fish if you don't have line in the water. Just like trading, you can't make money if you're not in the trade. So GNPX just popped up. Actually, it's been popped up. It was already on the screen, so we were already notified. It moved a little. We don't have to go searching for news. If it's good news, it's going to pop up right here, and these percentages are going to fly. So if they interpret the news well and it's well taken and people say, hey, let's get in, then you're going to see this number increase. We did just get a green arrow on it. It is above the 8. The white moving average is above the 21. If they interpret the news well, this stock should climb. We do not have a spike indication up here. We do not have any indication. Well, do we do now at 100% buyers? But don't let it fake you out. Still don't have a spike up here. This could just be 1 or 2 people. Could even be 1 person. Since we are set at 0.0, it may be 1 movement, 1 trade. Continually watching the volume spike. You can watch it in both scans if you have both set up. Sometimes they jump up here first, and sometimes they make it up to here. Doesn't look like that news was interpreted very well. I haven't read it. Maybe it's just a clinical 1 study getting approved. No activity yet. Not looking good for GPNX, I believe it was. It's not on my board anymore. GNPX. There's that bearish indicator I was telling you about. They're selling out. Got sellers down here. We have bearish indication over here. Well, unless a miracle happens, it looks like we're dead in the water for now. Might have to wait on that 7 o'clock hour and see if something happens. If you don't know, 7 o'clock is when Tokyo joins the U.S. market. Usually if they see we've been playing a stock, they will jump on board at that time and drive it up even higher. Unfortunately, I don't think they're going to see anything this morning. Yeah, that CPI. I never understood how things like that affect the market. Why don't they just leave us alone and let us trade? Oh, Microsoft is falling and the whole market falls, or Apple's falling and the whole market falls. What does that have to do with the other companies? They didn't fall. Never understood that part of the stock market. Pico, do you have the thing set at 1 minute? You have to have the volume spike at 1 minute. Right here. Watching the volume spike. Kiko, let me know if it was on 1 minute or not. I'm a multitasker. I can take it. I can do support and stream. I'm good. We don't have anything happening at the moment. So did you click on the word in the watch list? See where my mouse is? Click on the word and bring all of the stocks up to the top. You can see I'm clicking on it. Click until they come to the top. If you haven't loaded the pre-market scan, that could be a reason. One other thing to check is to go into hit your scan tab. Go find your pre-market scan and make sure that the pre-market scan is also on 1 minute. That is true, Backroads. They do that. Quiet morning. Nothing is moving. Go get you a fresh cup of coffee. You have time. I'm really surprised the internet stream is holding up. I'm running at about 50%. Top, did you subscribe to the Discord channel or you're new here? Top, if you're new here, subscribe to the Discord channel. There is a room called Current Setup and some videos. It'll walk you right through this setup. I'm the creator of these indicators. I created the volume spike and I created the pullback strategy. I created the volume label down here that tells you buyers and sellers of who's winning. And I created the spike indicator for the current candle. That is correct, Kiko. Make sure it's on 1 minute. Had a couple of guys say the one that I had loaded up there was set on 2 minute. I have since corrected that. Okay, I don't set any limits on anything operating with my decision to buy it. I don't use a stop. My mouse click is a stop. I am a scalper. I don't have time to set a stop. I'm usually in for less than a minute in most cases. And that's basically it. It's all about volume spiking and crossovers. And are there more buyers than sellers? Pico, so I don't know what you mean by, are you saying it's not the same stocks as this pre-market scan that's streaming? Yeah, check out the channel Current Setup and just load mine. They're right off of my system. Had someone yesterday said their all stock scan was listed alphabetically. All the stocks started with A and they didn't see anything else. And they didn't sort their scan correctly, is what we determined. They had it sorted by symbol and not by volume decreasing. These simple mistakes can keep it from working. Kiko, after the live stream, if you want, go post your message over in support on Discord, and I'll see if we can get you corrected. Watching this stock, it has a small. I don't know if I would trust it because it's trending down. This could just be a minor pullback and another drop. Just have to wait and see. We've lost the volume spike on that stock. There are traders. They're buying 200 shares, selling 500 shares. Not the kind of volume I'd like to see. If you look right here, the current volume in that bar is only around, well, it's 12 now. Starting to increase. Not seeing any arrows yet. We have a bullish candle, which is this candle here. And it disappeared. We have sellers coming in. This top wick represents the sellers. They drove it back down to here. Now it's just sitting there. These wicks are very important. We like to see wicks on the bottom, not on the top. The short sellers love to see them on the top and not on the bottom. We are getting a crossover. We have buyers. We have a bullish spike in that candle. I would rather see this stock take off, come back with a pullback, and then shoot up. Right now, the volume is so low, I don't think I would trust this little run. The whole thing is to try to catch these stocks with a lot of volume. It's really kicking in the percentages. The spike is high. The volume's ticking away. And you want to slip in and get your piece in the middle and get out before the run is over. That's how this works. When we have something just popping up and down and don't know which way it wants to go, that's not your trade. This is VTGN. This stock went to what? $60 in the past on Monday. I believe this was the one. See if I can go back that far. I don't think I can. Nope. Little penny stock trying to get up there. Not enough volume. OCEA. Pull back. We are bullish on that candle. We are not bullish on the volume. Another dollar stock, less than $1, making a move. I don't jump in on stuff like this. I wait for pullbacks. But I only wanted to pull back a certain distance. I don't want it to, and they're done, and let's continue. The stock is only moving a couple of pennies at a time. You can see it here, 90 cents, 92 cents, 94 cents. I don't buy stocks like that. We are watching our numbers for increases. See one growing here. Pullback. If you're brave, you can jump in, but your chances of winning are slim. Here we go. That's why you don't just jump in. It did pull back and it retested this high right here. And it bounced back up a little. This is actually not a high. This was probably the high there. Now bearish. It could continue. We're at very low volume. I'm not interested. You know, I used to use VWAP all the time, but I used it mainly because everybody preaches VWAP is above this or VWAP is below that. And the price is above VWAP, the price is below VWAP. But I find that I make just as much money when the price is below VWAP as it is above VWAP by using this setup. It has its purposes, but you'll find that during the day, the VWAP pretty much lays flat. It's not as active if the stock is not active. So is it a good indicator? Probably, for those who've been using it for years. For me, I don't use it. As you can tell by my screen, I like hardly nothing on there. All I care about is that, are the buyers coming in or are the sellers coming in? This is my paycheck over here. This is my paycheck over here. This is verification that I might get paid if I watch what's going on here. This one's only moving pennies. Pay attention to price. It may look impressive, but all of this is only like a nickel. I call these hopefuls. You hope it goes up. It could turn around. It could change the numbers over here. There could be millions of buyers popping in. And all of a sudden, this is a $5 stock when I wasn't looking. That can happen. But the way it looks right now, I'm not interested. That's why once they spike, we continue to watch them. Just because they're not spiking over here doesn't mean it's not rising. You notice we're not searching for stocks. They're all coming to us. We're being notified which ones are moving. That's why I don't run any filters in my scans. I don't need them. I only need to know if there's more buyers and sellers. Harley, we were all in the same boat you were. When this market turns around, I think everybody's going to realize I put a pot of gold in front of them. Right now, we're trying to find things that are rising in a market that's falling. And we are successful at that. So think about it. We're finding stocks in the worst market we've ever had. Humanity, you are correct. And look at it this way, we all get to grow together. This is a fairly new channel, about 3 months old. Harley Trader, you are welcome. I am very happy to do what I'm doing. Everybody wants to sell you a Gregster, I leave that up to the man upstairs. I can't outgive the Lord. Every time I try, he wins. I think if everybody had a change of heart, they will all have a new life. It's not about trying to take as much as you can get. It's about giving as much as you can. Exactly, Harley. I mean, yeah, I put a lot of time into this stuff. A lot. Never once thought about selling it. The wife says, why don't you just put it online and see what happens? I'm now experiencing a miracle in the making. If you feel like you want to contribute to the program, all I want you to do is share the links, send them over to the YouTube, send them to the Discord. Let's help them out financially. Rewards come in the end. Once the channel grows big enough, YouTube will pay me, probably minimal, but they'll pay me for your education. But in reality, I'm not looking at that for profit. If it happens, it happens. Watching the numbers, watching the numbers, watching the numbers. Not seeing anything standing out. Cheaper stock, moving pennies, not interested. That's GRRR. It's been trying all week to move unsuccessfully. The 7 o'clock hour did nothing for us. Gregster, I'll let her know you said thanks. Thank you, Harley Trader, for your comment. You know, I've done some things, you know, when you're younger, you don't realize what the future holds for you. My wife got into hatching butterflies. And when I was younger and before that, she probably spent about $30, $40. And I looked at her and I said, you know, not once in my life did I ever think that I would grow up and spend money on butterflies. Now think about that. How rare would that be? But she enjoys it. She has a backyard full of monarch butterflies when they hatch out. She has a community on Facebook with a bunch of butterfly people, and she's enjoying her blessing. Cecilian, I don't have time at the moment. It should be in your scans if you just loaded it. If you did load it, you should be able to pull it up in a watch list. If it goes beyond that, go over to Discord and put me a note in the support area, and I'll get on it as soon as we get through with this live stream. Humanity, I look at it this way. The good Lord created everything for free, and somebody figured out a way to charge us for it. Watching these numbers, nothing exciting popping up. Always check the red ones too. You never know if the red one is that pullback you're looking for. It could just be a slight pullback and it's going to go up again. This is our main tool. This is where it starts, right here in this column. All you have to do is check them. Just clicking around, I landed on something. We do have a crossover and a green arrow. Volume's a little weak. You have to look at everything. Don't just jump in because it's going up. We don't have a spike in that candle. And there we go, back down to the bottom, most likely. You don't have to be in a hurry. What we're actually looking for is a pullback. We want to see it run up, pull back. The crossover happens again, or it may not. The green arrows come back in and the stock shoots up. And I can assure you the second run up is usually stronger than the first. Here's a good example of a pullback, but we do not have any. Well, we got a green arrow now. We got a spike. But because I've been trading and watching all week long, I know GRR has been struggling to get up there above the 220 range. I'm not interested in this. It's been a struggling stock. You have to kind of remember what you saw during the week. How many attempts did that stock make? If you scrolled back, you could tell. Also like to inform people before they buy, zoom out. See where you're actually at within that range. You can see it's struggling. And get the big picture, then zoom back in and make your decision to play. Maybe you want to look at 2 days, 3 days. Is that stock been falling for 2 or 3 days? You don't know unless you go look. So if you see one pop up on the pullback indicator and it's rising, you still have time to go look at those days because we're waiting on a pullback. You'll have a couple of minutes to spare. Good morning, Wyatt. And good morning to anybody I might have missed. While things are quiet, we seem to be at around 64 subscribers. I'm going to do a quick walkthrough of what we're looking at. I'm Ricky Gaspard. I created every indicator you see on this setup. This is a volume spike indicator. It notifies us if the volume is increasing or decreasing. We consistently watch for numbers to grow. When we see one growing, we click on it and go look at the stock to see if it's actually moving. We go over here and I created the pullback indicator. We are waiting for stocks to rise again. That's not really a good example. Let's see if I can find one. And at this time, I cannot. So we're waiting on stocks to pull back. We're waiting for these two lines, which is the 8 moving average and the 21. We want to see the 8 cross above the 21. We want to see the price above the 8. We want to see a green arrow pop underneath it with a bullish spike. This bullish spike is the current candle. And we want to see buyers, not sellers down here. So when a stock takes off, don't just jump in, wait for it to pull back. Make sure these lines are in the correct order. You have a green arrow, you have a spike working, and you have buyers instead of sellers. It's that simple once you get the hang of it, which may take you a little bit of time. You've never seen this system before. I can just look over here and I know out of the corner of my eye there's no green thing up here and there's no green thing down here. I'm not really concentrating on those. It just comes natural for me, just like it will come natural for you. You'll be able to spot numbers growing fast just by glancing through this column. Let's see if we can find something moving. You can see these are positive numbers, so they're all going to be green candles. Every one of them. But the number's not increasing, so that's not good. There's nothing that should interest you in this column because the number is not rising. Make sure to always click on the red ones and the green ones. The red ones could just be a slight pullback before the next run up. pre-market where this stock just sit dead. That little dash means there wasn't anything trading. So I would not be interested in APP. Mid-cap stock there, made a little bump. It's not growing. We need growing numbers. You're welcome, Greg Huntsman. Our list is getting longer. It'll probably die off. A lot of hopefuls in here. I'm just glancing down the line. I'm not seeing any green ones growing. It's this simple. This is how you find a stock to play. You continually monitor this column. Once you find one, and let's say, for instance, it's rising, wait for the pullback. Then jump in if you feel comfortable. I don't know what I called it, but it should be the only pre-market on there. It might be called pre-market risers when you load it, Bob, but I might not have named it as far as a title in the Discord that way. I haven't checked. I could be wrong. Current setup. It only says pre-market scan shared link. It may say pre-market risers once you load it. Watching these numbers, and I haven't said this yet, do not trade on my screen. Trade off of your own computer. This stream is delayed. You load this system, don't just start trading. Don't take chances. Learn it. Watch all of the videos, whether they're old or new. They all contain some valuable information. I highly suggest that you run this during live market hours. Start clicking on different stocks. Don't trade. And you will become successful. Just watch it all week long. It's going to kill you to see all of these stocks going up. But you don't know. This is new to you. Once you master it, you will realize you have a miracle in your hands. So if you think about these subscription-based scanners, they're not going to provide you with a list of stocks you can watch. They're only going to announce the one stock that's spiking. We have a choice here. We're monitoring several stocks. I'm already on it. Harley's. I watched it when it first popped up. So in pre-market, and to be honest, I would probably with what's going on. I don't suggest anybody just jump on anxiety plays or FOMO plays until you get good at it. Personally, I wouldn't have played this stock. I don't play the price range of $1. I like to stay about $3 up to 25 or 30. To me, those are the strongest plays. I like very high volume. I like to see millions of people trading. So I just so this is a strong stock. You can see these two indicators are pointing north. It's pulling back right now. There may be a play coming. So let's mark this high. I don't have a low to mark because it was flat. This could just be a pullback to a certain level. I don't know what that level is. I have nothing to judge it on. But it could turn around here and go back and retest this high. So the play would be within this range right here once it turns around. So you're looking at about a 10-cent play. And that's why I don't trade penny stocks or dollar stocks. I want more than 10 cents. And this is why we wait on pullbacks. This stock could just lose everything it just did. That's why you don't jump in just because it's green. That's 50% of that rise it's already lost, maybe more. Just because news comes out doesn't mean it's good news. The investors will tell you if it was good or not. They're going to buy it up if it's good news. This run right here was probably anticipation of news coming out. They were all hoping they were in early. Good morning, Dragonfire. Thank you for joining us. Now it's getting short. I'm seeing a lot of activity, but I'm not seeing anything taking off. Harley, I don't use the ladder to trade. I set up buttons. One of my buttons is buy the ask. The other is sell the bid. There's a little gear icon up there by the buttons. I also have auto send selected. When you select auto send and you click the buy button, it is an immediate transaction. There's no confirmation. Do you want to trade this? It's just going to go. You click the sell button, you are immediately out, providing there's someone there to buy your shares when you're trying to sell them. We are scalping. We are not concerned about anything else. We want to get in there and get out. We want to get in and get out. That's the whole name of the game. We don't just jump in, we wait for pullbacks. And as always, if the setup looks perfect and you get in and things go south, immediately get out. Don't sit there hoping it's going to turn around. Just get out. There's always another trade. It's so important when you're scalping. If you're wrong, get out. Don't wait for $100 or a $200 loss. It's not worth it. You have to make it up on the next one if you're that guy. I understand some of you are on the PDT rule. You only get 3 trades. Wait for your account to reset and try again. Don't hang in there hoping for more. If you are in profit and you slid in there in between the rise, get out before it falls. Don't try to nail the exact bottom. Don't try to get out at the exact top. Just make some money, whether it be 10 or 1,000. It doesn't matter. Just stay positive. This is scalping. We're not in there to lose. We're in there to win. We're not in there to hold on and hope something happens. We don't do that here. You watch these numbers and watch for the spikers. You'll find stocks taking off. You don't just jump in. Like you would not get in here, even though it looks promising. You'd want to see lots of volume here. You want to see volume spikes. You want to see the buyers outnumber the sellers here. You want to see it rising up and you want to see it pull back. Then you want to get in, considering it turns around. The way you know that is you'll see a crossover of these lines. You'll see the price jump up. You'll see this green arrow pop below it. You'll see a green spike up here. You'll see green buyers down here. That tells you they are buying. I am never invested in the market. After I quit trading, I'm always sitting on cash. That way I don't lose what I earned. I don't even use the margin account feature for TD Ameritrade. I never have. I'm not going to risk a margin account, and I don't see how people actually do that. Why would you want to trade on money that's not yours? What if you lose it? You have to pay it. I use my own account to trade with. If you are an expert trader, you may want to use a margin account. I do not. And I consider myself pretty good. But I trade my money. I don't trade margin money. If I lose my money, I don't have to come up with more to pay myself back. I just need to win another stock. Just clicking and clicking and clicking to see if anything looks good, and it does not. Patience is the key. Wait on that play. You're a new beginner. You don't know what you're doing. You are just now learning. Once you get the hang of it, settle for $10 profit, settle for 20. If you have your doubts, get out. $10 a day is $50 a week. It's a little snowball rolling. You're making it bigger and bigger. Eventually, your account will be big enough. You start buying more shares. You keep that snowball rolling. Don't get greedy. Take what the market awards you and get out. It's okay to make $5, $10, $20. That's better than losing $5, $10, or $20. You got a riser here. Let's see if we can get a pullback out of it. I've been watching the numbers. I don't know if you have, but I saw it. So here's the high. I'm going to mark the high. I don't know if that's going to be a low. I like to see multiple resistance here. I would like to call this a support line, but I can't. So I don't know how far down it's going to come before it is a play for me. It could be here. It could be down there. That's what we don't know. It may be playing this high right here. It could bounce off of this. It could be resisted, which is resistance for support. We could turn around and go way up here and retest this high. Bouncing off of the 8 moving average. We're waiting on the stock to see if it's going to turn around. We're waiting to see if these are going to turn into buyers. I'd like to see a bullish spike up here, not bearish. And I'd like to see a green arrow pop in before I take a chance. But I'm getting red arrows. That's a word of caution. Still bouncing off of this level. So it's finding support here. If it breaks through support, it could be bad news for buyers. Still have sellers, still have bearish in this candle. I'm still watching the numbers over here. Are you? We may be turning around. We may be going up. We do not have a green arrow. We do not have a spike. We do have more buyers than sellers. Volume is not really ticking hard on this stock. The last volume bar was less than 40,000. Current bar is barely moving. I'm not thinking I'm seeing anything here. Humanity, I quit doing it. We're in a down market, and I was trying to maybe create a scan that would give us some hopefuls in the morning. And I soon realized that since the market is a bear market, and since I'm a scalp trader, it's impossible to find anything the night before. So all I really need is each morning to wake up and watch these numbers. I did a test, it failed. So I discontinued it. It's all about working the moment, the live moment. Don't worry about trying to find stocks. It's a waste of time. Let them come to you. You can see this stock did absolutely nothing. We didn't get everything we needed. It looked tempting. I think we found it about here. So we would have got in and lost. But by waiting on the correct setup, we didn't lose. Yes, sir. Coming up on the top of the hour, news could come out. Something could happen that turns the market around. If it does, it's going to be right here in this column. We're looking hopeful over here, but the volume is still low. We do have the buyers. We do have a spike. We do have a pullback. but it went dormant right here. Is this just somebody hoping that it goes up? It could be. Doesn't mean it's right. Because it's weak. 390 shares in that current bar. I am not interested. We need lots of volume. We need people moving this thing, not one person making a buy. That is correct, T, and you have to keep it above 25 or they just kick you right back down. I always say 28,000 and don't lose more than 3. A lot of people think they mastered it at 25 and they lose $10, and the next thing you know, you're back down to the PDT rule. You see, this stock never made a move because we're watching. We already know it's not going to do anything. Steadily watching my numbers. Yeah, if you open a cash account, you don't have to comply with the PDT rule. Just get rid of the options trading and the margin account. Tell them you want a cash account. You can trade as many times as you want. Once you get your account big enough, you can always go back to the margin account if you feel good about it. You can always go back to options trading, but if you are below the rule, go to a cash account. You can trade as long as you have money and as many times as you prefer. Not seeing anything in these numbers. We are a minute and a half past 8 o'clock. Nothing is jumping up. Nothing's drawing my attention. Maybe this one. Oh, it paused. That's DTGN. Those people are still wanting to get in on that $60. Is today Friday or Thursday? I think it's Thursday, is it? Yep, one more day to go, Bob. I don't like trading Fridays either. I'm almost considering not streaming on Fridays. But we're building a channel here, so I'm streaming every day. Everybody needs to learn this. It will put money in your pocket once you learn it. This is the main tool. This is your stock finder. Once you get a stock moving, then you work the setup. Wait for the pullback and the next run up. This is not one. Me too, Bob. I think we're going to do it. I may need to put out a video. I've been trying to think of a topic to cover. I've already covered all of this in a video. Don't want to do a rerun. Maybe I'll do one on the tick chart because that is important as well. We already maxed out the views I had to have. We had to have 4,000 hours of views. That one went away last night. I'm only waiting on about 60 subscribers. I will do the tick chart. The main reason I haven't been focusing on it is not everybody has multiple monitors. And you need to have it running all the time. The tick chart really helps you to determine to get in and get out. It gives you a faster motion. It lets you know a few seconds before that candle really takes off in either direction, up or down. It's too fast for a few people, but you can slow it down till you get used to it. It's not based on volume, it's based on the amount of trades overall. Explain that in the video when it comes out. Mike, that's pretty much what the tick chart does. You can bring it down to actually live, like no delay. I run it at 133 trades. That seems to be my number. Somebody else might want to run it at 233 trades until they get used to it. The problem with tick charts is the more volume that stock has, the faster that tick chart runs. But once you get used to it, it's not an issue. We can put the arrows on it, not version 4, but we can put the arrows from version 2. They work fine in the tick chart. We'll talk more on that when I put out the next video. Right now, 8 o'clock didn't do anything for us. That's VTGN. It has activity this morning. It's a good one to put in your personal watch list so you don't lose track of it. It could do something at market open. It could do something just prior to market opening. It's one to watch. Parabolic, it varies from day to day. I think maybe we're getting there. One day we'll have 2,000, hopefully. If you're new to the channel, new to the live stream, these streams are recorded. I've gave instructions twice on what's happening on the stream. I explain the volume spike. I explain all of the indicators. When this stream is over, you can go watch it and watch it, and go watch all of the videos. You don't know how important that is. You want to watch them until you can say, hey, I remember that happening in that movie. It'll start coming natural to you, but you have to feed the brain. We are watching the V spike column, the volume spike. This column measures volume spikes. We see these numbers take off in a certain direction. We go check that stock. Currently, nothing is taking off. Once we find one moving, we click on it. We look for a pullback. We do not just get in. We look for high volume. We look for bullish spikes. This spike is only for this candle. We want to see this increasing. Let your computer work for you. You just observe what's happening. Taking all the work out of it. This column's going to find the stocks for you. You don't need to go search for them. This indicator is going to help you to make a better decision to get in and get out once you learn it. If you're new here, don't just jump in. It doesn't work like that. The TGN is on the move. It's been on the move 2 or 3 times this morning, unsuccessfully. This is a pullback. We would have waited on this 2 lines to cross, and they did. And you wait on this spike arrow. You wait on this pullback before this happens. It can happen at other times. The lines may already be crossed and you get a pullback, but the price turns around and starts moving back up and you get another arrow. Those are all indications to get in. But you always wait on the pullback. Don't try to buy the rise. It's like we spotted this stock. It was going up. If you would have jumped in, you would now be negative. The 8 o'clock hour is very important. We're coming up on market open. People that are in profit are going to take their profits. They don't want to lose them at market open. Live stream and they realize they don't have Thinkorswim and they leave. Not everybody trades on Thinkorswim. I understand that. My goal is to try to bring the Thinkorswim people over. Saw that one moving. I clicked on it. It's moving up. We have that positive volume spike. We have more buyers than sellers. We do not have a great volume. That does not mean it's not going to go up. It can go up on weak volume, but I like lots of volume. You can see this candle's rising. You can see this wick at the top. These are the sellers trying to drive it back down. And they seem to be doing a good job of it. That wick means something. It means sellers are driving it down. We like to see wicks on the bottom. Even if it's a red candle, if you have a long wick on the bottom, the buyers are dominating that candle. I like to see volume hopefully up above 500,000 and rising. I just like to see this number flying. I've seen it flying at 200,000. I've seen it flying in the millions. As long as it's moving steady, there's lots of people buying. That's a good volume to me. I wouldn't buy this. It's too low. Now, if this number took off and it's going 16, 25, 50, 100,000, then I'm interested, but it's not doing that. And this is what happens when it's not doing that. It tricks you into getting in, and then you don't get anything. You lose your money. It's all about buyers and sellers. That's what the whole trading system is based off of. Buyers and sellers. You need more buyers than you need sellers if you want the stock to go up. We can find them going up and down over here, but we can also find them, the candle going up or down over here. And we can verify that candle by a green spike and a green volume and a green arrow. We can also verify the trend by these two moving averages crossing over. Once they crossed, we had a slight trend upwards, but we did not have the volume. So these people that bought have now lost some money. I'm not expecting anything to happen. It is 8:18. In a couple of minutes, I'm going to change over to the market open setup. It's only a few clicks. It's not something drastic that you have to do, but you need to do it. So while we're in the calm of the storm, I'm going to go fill my coffee cup up. I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. It is 8:20. In about 5 minutes, we'll change over to the day market open setup. We're only going to change this spike number and we're going to change our scans. That's all we're going to do. Citizen, they are not, but it's available over in Discord in the current setup area. I don't really use them. Some people do. Only thing I care about is that column of spikes and this indicator and the spike alert and the volume alert. That's all I really care about. Citizen, if you watch enough of these live streams, that feeling of a lot of information to absorb will go away. It'll just start. You'll actually probably predict the words coming out of my mouth if you just show up enough. I know exactly what he said. Sounds good, Captain Crush. Captain Rush, Crush, Crush. Let's see, VTGN, where did you go? Is it not on my chart anymore? It doesn't look like it. VTGN, VTGN. I'll just type it in. Oh, I'm already on it. Duh. It's hard to tell if it's going to go at market open. Anything can happen. I will be watching for a volume spike on VTGN, but you won't see it here. You will not be able to find hardly anything. This is why I suggest during pre-market to make a personal watch list where they don't disappear on you. And in that personal watch list, have that V-spike indicator and monitor the stocks that were moving in pre-market. If you don't put them in a personal watch list, you won't know where they went when market opens. It's going to be a total mess up here. We are going to try to slow it down a little bit by adjusting the V-spike numbers, but it's still going to be a mess. It opens and rises at market open. I wait for the pullback. If you want to chance it, that's a very high risk play. If you buy it as it's rising at market open, it could pull back any second. Or it could keep going. We don't know where it's going. If it's going to be a strong rise after market open, these indicators are going to turn north. I would wait on a pullback to test the lowest level that it hits. Wait for it to turn around, get a green arrow, watch your volumes, watch your spike indicator. You want to catch that pullback after open. Definitely an up arrow. You want the price to be up here. You want it to look like this, exactly like this. You want to see that crossover. You want to see that green arrow. You want it to pull back, but then you want to see it turn around and shoot up. So if at market open, let's just say this would be the high for market open. If it hits that high and turns around, you need it to drop back pretty healthy, not a whole bunch, but you don't want to just see a little red candle. I want to see it pull back and then start turning around and shoot back up. It'll be obvious when it happens. If you miss it, you miss it. There's always another stock. Some of them don't pull back. Some of them just keep going. We can't win them all. Once you are highly experienced in using this system, you'll know your limits. You're having trouble with the scans, go to Discord, load the ones that are in current setup. They are directly off of my system. All right, I'm going to change over here. We're going to move the all stocks up here. We're going to bring up the gap and run down here. We are going to adjust our spike level by right-clicking on the name, edit formula. We're going to move this to 100. 100 equals 1%. You may want to try 200. You may want to try 300. I find that 100 works for me, and clicking apply and OK. Now I'm going to come up here and I'm going to sort volume from highest to lowest. It's going to scatter these percentages. I'm only worried about these top stocks that I can see. These were the strongest in pre-market. We want to see if they're going to move. And this spike happens, you're not going to be able to find it hardly. It's going to be volatile. Once it calms down, we're going to come back over here and click on the name V spike, and we're going to sort them back to the top. So we are now set up for market open. We're going to watch the gap and run. This scan will not fire until a couple of minutes after market open. It has to determine if the stock opened higher than yesterday's close. And if it did, is the volume there to make it continue to rise? So the stocks that pop up here are good stocks. Be careful that the volume is high enough. They could be just a move up all day long. Not likely in this market, but I have seen quite a few of them just crawl all day. 25 seconds to go. I'm going to be watching for spikes in these top stocks. I'm going to be watching for pullbacks over here when I click on one. Good luck, everybody. Hope you make some money. I hope I make some too. We're watching for spikes. That's a high price stock, but you saw how easy it was for me to find what's shooting up. These are all shooting down. That doesn't mean they're not good stocks. They could be pulling back for a run up. Looking like a bloodbath today. Disney, trying to move to higher price stock, I would wait on a pullback. If this ends up being the high, then you would click here and throw your resistance line. It's resistance because the price is below it. This would be a level here. It could pull back to this level. If it does, it may turn around and go back and retest this high. We did have the crossover of the moving averages before open. We did have a couple of arrows to tell us it's going to go up at market open. These indicators were pointing north. Not a guarantee, it's just a notification. Still watching over here, looking for something to spend my money on. That's not a pullback. That's not a pullback. Now we're losing them. That shows weakness in the market. Don't get a play every day sometimes. This is not the right market. We're in a bear market. Not good, not good, not good. That's too expensive. Not good. That's very expensive. That's Disney. $13 stock here. It sold off. Well, it rose and then it sold off at market open. It turned around. This is not a pullback. Don't get it confused. This is only a bounce off the bottom. Up here, if it rises and pulls back, that would be the pullback. These tall candle wicks tell me that it's selling off. Whatever the buyers are buying, they're selling it off. We have mostly red on the board on the watch list. Few green ones, Tesla, Intel. That's a bounce off the bottom. I'm known to play these bounces too. They are a high risk play, but very rewarding if you can nail them. Mighty quiet up here. $112 stock. I buy 1,000 shares. I'm not interested in spending that much money on that one. Not good. This is not a pullback. This is a reversal after market open. A high. It doesn't necessarily have to make the high, but it needs to run up, pull back a little, throw a green arrow, and the lines are north, and take your chances. We have a stock here, J&J. It's an expensive stock, but it gapped up. It opened higher than yesterday's close. This gap and run is monitoring if it's going to continue to rise, and it is. The volume is quite low. They're going to run low on these stocks because not everybody is watching them. It is still going. You would still wait on a pullback on even these lower volume stocks that pop up in the gap and run. They're not as volatile as the other stocks in the market, which is now dead. So now that we're dead, I'm going to click on the volume spike indicator and I'm going to bring them all back to the top. It still may fill the screen occasionally. It's going to come in bursts. But eventually it's going to calm down and you'll only have a few, just like in pre-market. Got quite a few stocks in the gap and run. Looks like mostly high-priced stocks. I guess the large caps are moving today and the small caps are not. You can see J&J has made a nice little run off of the gap and run scan. Alibaba's the first in the list. They're all fairly low volume for market open and for such a big stock. I'm not interested in spending hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'm going to look up here. Still pretty volatile. We don't know where it's going. If you see something standing out like 4%, 5% in this column, that would be the ones to click on if you can catch it. They seem to jump out from underneath the mouse sometimes. If they're moving too fast for you, you can always go back over here and sort by volume and slow them down and scroll down the list. Well, I'll get it in a minute. You probably could have spotted that stock. I didn't. If you're watching on your own machine, once you're used to looking, you probably would have saw it before me. You can see these moving averages are pointing due north. There was a crossover at market open. There was a small pullback. There was a green arrow, but this would have scared me right here. I probably would have got out, and then it'll go up just like normally when I get out. So let's try sorting by marked percent change and see what happens. That slows them down a little bit as well. You can do that. These are the top gainers this morning. You have to play with the columns, see what works for you. We are on CLSK. Maybe sorting by marked percent change may work better for some of you. Sorting by volume may work better for some of you. Even though I provide you with these tools, it's up to you to set up a strategy that works for you. You play this system the way it works for you, not necessarily the way I teach it. Change it around. If you see something working better for you, go for it. This had a nice rise at open, but I would be cautious because of volume. That's why I wouldn't have traded it. This candle's not really flying like it should fly. It may have been flying down here, but I didn't see it quick enough. Some of you might have, as the ones that pointed it out in the chat, in the text. I don't like the way this stock was trading in pre-market. It does have great volume. That's what you want to see. You want to see these numbers flying. This was a bounce off the bottom. That is a pullback, but there was no arrow to indicate to get in because we did not have a crossover. Crossover happened after that. Now we get a signal. To me, just because of this back here, that would not have interested me, but look at it. It's going to go anyway. That's why I don't use my own mind to make decisions. Not a great profit. Keep in mind, this thing's only moving pennies. It's not worth buying. Just giving examples here. Don't trade off of this live stream. Trade off of common sense once you learn this system. This is only for instructional purposes. It's not for you to trade off of. It is delayed. So in a choked on my coffee. Still pretty volatile here. When it settles out, you're going to have stocks left over here. We're in a bear market. It's trying to drive everything down. So the green ones are disappearing. When this market turns around, it'll be a whole different ball game. You'll notice on good market days, this list is a lot easier to play. Click on these columns, sort by what works for you. What I'm noticing is small spikes up, then they disappear. Small spikes up, then they disappear. Nothing with a whole lot of strength in it. Let's look down here at our gap and run. Those gap and run stocks always look good. These may be the plays for some of you since they are much calmer than up here. They're going to be lower volume stocks. Most of them anyway will be. But they always look good. That one not so good. There's Mara, my favorite play. It is at a resistance line. It could pull back. It might retest this level. I don't see a level there. Let's see. Maybe there. It could pull back to here and go back up and retest and maybe break through or maybe bounce back down. It may not even go back down to here. It may just go from here to here. If it pulls all the way back down to here and it starts turning around, chances 8. This may be the pre-market high right there. Not very much money in it. This would be 1566 to 1580. That's not enough for me to be interested. The market has died after the volatility. That was a bunch of people bailing in and bailing out. If there were some strong movers, they would be present right now. I'm sorting back by V spike. We have a small mover. So the volatility of the market open is ending. What's left over is going to be the best plays, the strong survivors. We are searching for big spikes. We're looking for pullbacks. We're going to click on green and red. But we have nothing to click on because we are in an awful market. CLSK looks good. It looked good at market open. It pulled back slightly and it went up. The lines turned north. Good morning, Bob Smith. You can see this is a good example. This is what you want to see. You would to confirm that we did turn green. These indicators were north and we continue to get arrows. And probably out when I saw this first candle. I do not wait on the red ones. I don't care if I would have got out too soon, as long as I can get a piece of what's running. Except for a few stocks, I think we had a bunch of bouncers this morning. Everything kind of pulled back before it went up. List and see if anything is playable. We're down into the 2 and 3% gainers. CLSK hasn't had any big sell-off. What you see is some profit takers. It's in a strong upward trend. Will it continue? I don't know. Volume is not up in the millions. It's not even above 500,000. It's been a slow crawler, it looks like. I don't like slow crawlers. I can't get in and get out fast enough. I don't want to sit there. Gap and Run has a few stocks. Getting close to that 9 o'clock hour where everything has been dying. So once you learn this system, if you've been a trader for a while and you've been using a certain system, apply these tools to what you're used to. You don't have to trade my way. It's a good way, but you may have already perfected something. See how you can incorporate these tools into what you're used to. We are all different. We all trade differently. We all see things differently. Bob Smith, it's been a slow morning after 9 o'clock for months. That's why I like ending the stream at 9:30. Don't want to sit here and wait for hopefuls. I would rather pass up a play like this because I'd have to put too much money in it to make a decent profit. I want to make it all at one time. I want that perfect stock. It don't matter if I lost $100 because I didn't get in. I want to see thousands when I do. They are very tough to find in this market. I'm happy with one trade a day as long as it pays me well. I don't worry about a second trade. I'm in profit. I'm good till tomorrow morning. See you later, Mr. Rodriguez. I appreciate you joining us. The reason I wait on good plays and don't play all these 10 and 20 and 15-cent bouncers is that's the way I trade. That's the way I trained myself. Your way will be different. You may be happy with a 10-cent gain. And we are back to boring. Do not like this downward trend in the market. I don't like picking from just a few stocks. But I like to be profitable. That's why I'm here looking for anything. So if you're looking at this stock over on the right there, you can see how powerful these indicators are. They're moving north. It gave you the entry to get in had you found it quick enough. I wasn't looking for it. It gave you the arrows. I'm sure it gave you the bullish spike and the positive buyers. You could have stayed into this stock all the way to here. These are just profit takers. It's not a strong pullback. And you could have went from about $2 to $2.15. This stock has also been trying, it's kind of like a GRR. It's been struggling and bouncing off of the lows and coming up to $2.20 or so and back down. They are struggling stocks, but they do move. They can award you 10 or 15 or 20 cents. Captain Crush, my scan is now over in current setup on Discord. Everything in there is off of my system. They should work for you. Anything can affect what I show on the screen and what's on your computer. My system may refresh before yours. The price range I selected may not be like yours. Therefore, you will be different. If you load my scans off of the current setup channel, you should be like this. That's because the gap and run is a special setup. It's not something I can copy and paste. There is a video on the gap and run setup on YouTube. Please watch it. Mr. Howard, I trade on 3 different time frames. I'm watching a 133 tick chart, I'm watching a 1-minute chart, and I'm watching a 5-minute chart. I mostly trade off of the 5-minute. I use the lower time frames as entry and exit points. I focus on the tick chart for entries and exits. I confirm it with the 1-minute. If it looks good on the 5-minute, I'm pulling the trigger. I know it's a lot to do, and you really do need multiple monitors to be efficiently active all the time, so you're not trying to flip screens. Some people can handle it, I can't. So I'm running a 4-monitor setup. All I have to do is move my head around. When you're scalping, you need instant access all the time. Trying to find and change time frames is time consuming. It's only seconds, but trying to figure out if it's a crossover, if it's a pullback, you're wasting time. I'm just looking around. I can see the pullback on one chart. I see the spikes on one chart. I see my tick chart. I see the 1-minute, and I see the 5-minute. Can you do this by clicking tabs? Absolutely. You may lose a little bit of money, but you can still make a lot. If you're looking at NKLA, I will pull up my tick chart for you so you can see what a tick chart looks like. See if I can guess the right monitor here. That's it. Such a long delay. That took at least 10 seconds to change over, but that's what my tick chart looks like. If you compare it to your 1-minute or 5-minute, you can see these are the same moving average. This is the 8. This is the 21. The tick chart is moving much faster than the other charts. So if you look over at my stream, well, you can't see it. I can. I have crosshairs on my screen, and they show on all monitors to tell me exactly where this price is on a 1-minute and 5-minute. But you can see right here, I could have got out. and that would be this area here. That would be about, let's see, the 903 mark on the chart. It would be here, but look how many times it told me to get out, but on the 1 minute, it's only one candle. So this gives me plenty time to get out before this drop. It'll notify me sooner when it turns around and goes up. It'll notify me before you see it on a 1 minute chart. You ride it up. This is a pullback. And you see these red candles and you get out. The same thing, but in a faster time frame. Good job, Bill. You're catching on. Just keep trying, keep learning, keep coming here every morning. You'll pick up new information each time. Even I wasn't this successful because I was having to do this exact thing you see on the screen in my head. I was visualizing, hey, this is a taller candle. There's a spike in it. This is not good. This is a crossover. Is that good? I had no confirmation in my head. I was only guessing if the next one opened higher than this one closed, it was time to get in. But doing all this in your head is a lot less, it's a lot more riskier than me putting my brain in these indicators. I was looking for tall candles. I created that in the volume spike. I was looking for upward trend. That's in these two moving averages. I needed to know when the candle itself spiked. That's in this one up here. I needed to know if there was more buyers than sellers in the overall volume. That's down here. So everything you see up here is what I've been thinking for since 1990. About 2 years ago, I started creating these things unsuccessfully because it wasn't interpreting what I was thinking. The last 6 months, I had a breakthrough. This one was born first. I was able to incorporate the data in this side over into these candles, over into these arrows. This same data used a different way is up here in this spike for that one candle. This same information over here is down here in this volume on a much longer term. Trading is not easy. I'm going to let you guys know. I can give you things can still go wrong. This is the stock market. You could be into the perfect trade and there's a hidden seller waiting to drop 50,000 shares, even though it looks perfect, and you lose. Anything can happen. You can be in a stock and an institutional company come in and buy 1 million shares outside of the market, and they slowly raise the price and you wonder why is it growing, the volume's low. You can get lucky like that. $75 when it appeared in the volume spike, all the way up to 60. A few of us made money. A few of us panicked. They don't see things like that normally. Do you get in? Am I too late? Am I too early? All of these things come into play. But these indicators and spikes nailed it. I actually think some of the people that were watching that stock on Monday couldn't believe it. I've seen it happen numerous times, but if you're a first-time viewer to experience something like that, it's like overwhelming. It's like, oh my God. And it'll happen again. We will catch another one. They don't happen very often. I think I've seen maybe 3 over the last 6 months. But if you're the one that got in and bought at the right time, you can make a month's pay on one trade, providing you have the cash available at the time it takes off. Won't call out any names, but we had one investor made $20,000 in a matter of minutes. We're in a dead market. If this was a bull market, we would be seeing green ones to buy. That's the difference. We just need the market to turn around. Every one of us that want to buy, we're not interested in buying because we know we could lose our money because we're in a downtrend. We're in a bear market. Every now and then we may have a good day, but then we're right back to red days. We are trying to find needles in a haystack. This system works much better than what you're seeing. We just don't have the right market for it. The best part about this is you don't miss things like that. Rarely miss them. That VTGN was a winner for very few people. Only those that knew what was going on actually jumped in and didn't care about losing a little if they were wrong. And you don't take the chance, you're not going to earn anything. It's okay to lose $50 or $100. You have to be in that stock to make anything. Just cut your losses quick if you're wrong. There is probability in the stock market. It's kind of like flipping a coin. Most people think you have a 50-50 chance. It only has 2 sides of flipping a tails or a heads. That's not true. You could flip it 10 times and land on 2 heads and 8 tails. The odds don't work that way in the stock market. You may have to make 10 trades to win 3 or 4. If you cut your losses quick enough, the 3 or 4 that you did win will exceed much more than what you lost. It's a game of odds. Best part is we're not just jumping in. We're waiting for the perfect setup. We are waiting for a pullback and an indication. We're not flipping a coin here. We're trying to flip a two-headed coin. But it doesn't work in a bear market most of the time. What I'm trying to say here is that your odds are improved by using a system and consistently sticking with it and learning how it works. You improve your odds that way. I just love this gap and run thing. It's kind of like, hey, buy me, go eat breakfast and come back. I'll take care of you. I wish it was that easy. Slow and steady is this gap and run. Yes, I was talking and the mic had turned off for some reason. I thought I eliminated that. We have a few minutes to go here. Hopefully you heard me say, are there any questions? David, I do that every morning in this live stream. Every morning. There's many of these live streams recorded where I explain everything I do. There's many videos on the channel that explain every indicator. I have learning information everywhere. I just posted the links in the chat. If you do not have them, click on them. We would like to have you on board. We want to show you how to make money. And currently we're making it here and there in the worst market ever. Captain, my price ranges are $1 minimum and no maximum. My volume level, my minimum volume is 500,000. No maximum. I had the code pasted, but I have manipulated the numbers in my code. If you see the code on your screen, you're in the scan tab, and you click the little pencil next to where the day is. This is a daily scan. It will bring up the code where you may see 99.96 at the end of the code. Me and Parabolic have reduced that number to 99.86. That's why you may see something different than what I'm showing. I will post this gap and run scan in the current setup tab as soon as this stream ends. And I should have already ended it, but I'm not going to just cut y'all off. Any more questions? Chuck, if you're in Discord, go over to support. I'll help you when I get over there. Put me a message on the support channel. You're welcome, Parabolic. You guys have a great day. I'm going to end the stream here. If you have questions, please join the Discord. Go hit the support channel and let me know you have issues. I'll help you work through them the best I can. Maybe somebody else will help you. We'll get you taken care of. Have a blessed day. See you tomorrow morning on Sell Off Friday.